Check it out. We got a special car in the shop here. So I want to kind of go over what we've done to this thing, what we're going to do to it, I should say, and kind of fill you in on the history of this car. So let's get to the video.
Welcome to the Savage Productions YouTube channel.
Check this out. So this car is really cool, but it kind of stinks that somebody was using this to drag race, right? And let me show you why. So you guys might not realize what this is. All right, this is a 1989 Firebird Turbo Trans Am 20th anniversary edition. So they only made 1,500 and some odd of these. I'm not sure the exact number, but it was in the 1,500s, okay? Very rare car. These engines, they're the 3.8 intercooled turbo, and it basically was the same engine that they put in the Buick Grand National GNX, okay? The Grand Nationals had 245 horsepower, I believe, is what they advertised. Very popular car in the 80s, very quick. You could really make some power out of them. Then they came out with a Grand National GNX version that had 300 horsepower, give or take. They only made 551 of them. Okay, so in 1989, they came out with the anniversary edition Turbo Trans Am with the GNX engine in it. They only made 1,500 something of these cars, you know? And I mean, personally, if it was me and I had one of these, it would be a collector car. I wouldn't touch the engine, I wouldn't turn the boost up, I wouldn't do anything. That's just like the GNX. I wouldn't do that either. Them GNX cars are bringing some big money. I mean big money. These are bringing upwards of $60,000. So this one, you know, is a really nice car. Well, somebody was using it to drag race. All right, a little backstory here. So the guy that owns this car, he buys and sells collector cars. You know, anything collectible, old, you know, he doesn't really get much newer than this. That's his side gig, okay? He bought this car sight unseen from an auction house. I'm not even going to say the name. It's not Barrett Jackson. They wouldn't allow this car to go through their auction house. They would if it was, they just sold one actually. 16,000 original miles. They went for some big money. Anyway, this car, he basically got lied to. He gets it, you know, it gets delivered here to his house. He cranks it up. He notices it's not running that good. He takes it for a ride down the road, comes back, and within minutes of it warming up, it's blowing out oil out of the breathers in the engine. It's not running right. Oil starts blowing out of the breathers and everything. Well, the engine compartment's totally clean, as you can see. It's really clean. The whole engine was clean. So whoever sold this car, not sure if the owner did it or who did it, but they made sure this thing was spotless. They cleaned it and everything under the hood. And they must have not started it when it went through the lot. So it went through 3 sales. It went through 2 sales that it never sold, right? So whoever was bidding on it was present, and they must have started the car up, whatever, and they didn't buy it. It went through 2 different lots. I think they call them lots when they roll through the lot, right? At the auction house. And it's a collector car auction house. So he contacts them, because he's online, he's not local. He contacts them to find out, hey, is there anything wrong with this car? I noticed it didn't sell for the last 2 auctions. And they said, no, everything's fine. We checked it out. Everything's good. Well, he bids on the car and wins it. and he paid pretty decent money for it. Well, he gets it. Guess what? It's got a dead cylinder. He brings it here. I could tell right away it was down on a cylinder just by the way it was running. So these cars are controlled by a MAP sensor, right? No mass airflow sensor, MAP sensor, which is controlled from vacuum. So when you're down a cylinder, whether you have a fouled spark plug or a bad plug wire or whatever the case, when you have one cylinder that is down, your vacuum is very low, very, very low vacuum. So with it running and having a cylinder down, low vacuum, the MAP sensor is not getting a lot of vacuum on the MAP sensor, which in return making the engine run rich. Like it was just blowing out black smoke because it was just running super rich. Obviously on a MAP sensor setup, the more acceleration, the more pedal to the floor, you lose vacuum, which in return raises fuel pressure, raises fuel coming out of the injectors. So when you have low vacuum at idle, because of a cylinder being down, it's going to run rich. So that was one of the problems. But, I knew it was a cylinder that was down. Didn't really know if it was a foul plug or not, but I assumed we had a hurt cylinder because it was blowing oil out. The crankcase had pressure in the crankcase. So we did a compression check. Number 3 cylinder was down. It had, I forget what it was in the 40s or 50s. All the other cylinders were decent. They were in the 120s. So then we did a leak down test on cylinder 3. It was blowing into the crankcase. That's where it was blowing. So we pulled the motor out, pulled it apart, and I'm going to show you. So this engine's been rebuilt, and not long ago. I think somebody just threw it together to sell it. The cylinder walls, it's 30 over. It's got Speed Pro high protected pistons in it, so they just did a quick little rebuild. Instead of high protected, they should have went with forged pistons, The crankshaft is 10 thousandths. It's been cut 10 thousandths on the rod bearings and 40 thousandths on the mains. So the crank is in great shape, okay? All it needs is to be polished. The cylinder walls are in great shape. I've already checked piston to wall clearance between the pistons and the cylinders, and they're right at the largest point is about 1.5 to 2 thousandths. So that tells me there's not hardly any miles on this engine since it was rebuilt. So we're gonna have the machine shop. They're gonna square deck hone it. We're going to put new rings in it. They're going to polish the crank. We're going to put new bearings in it. It's going to be a fresh motor, right? The heads are going to get checked. We're going to leak down, check them, make sure all the valve seats are good. The heads are going to be, they're going to shave the heads a little bit, shave the block a little bit. Everything's going to be completely cleaned, and we're going to repaint everything real nice. We're going to reuse the cam. It's a stock cam in it. The lifters, they're in great shape. The lifter bores were in great shape, thankfully. It's got here's the cam. Now I'm not sure if this is, I didn't run the numbers. It looks like a stock cam. I don't think it's an aftermarket cam. The push rods are, they look like they're fairly new, but there's some of them that's got some scarring going on. We're going to replace push rods if we need to. So, but yeah, man, that really stinks that you have a collector car like this that somebody is racing. And so right here is the boost controller. It's just a, it basically, to me, it looks like, I'll show you the rest of the interior. The car is really good shape. Everything's good shape, man. All the seal, like everything, man, is really, really in good shape. So it was definitely garage kept. But they had the vacuum tees going on to fool the MAP sensor, so it wouldn't, shut down, because these things basically had map sensors that once they read a certain amount of boost, they would shut everything down. That was the way to do it back in the days. You fool that map sensor by bleeding off boost so it doesn't see all the boost, so it won't shut everything down. And then they had this, that's basically a controlled vacuum leak is all that is, to the wastegate. So the wastegate doesn't see that much boost, so it pulls more boost. And it's a vacuum line that runs all the way in the car in there. To me, it looks like an air compressor valve, you know, for an air compressor. If you, I'll show you, like right here, this is what it looks like. It's a regulator. It's just a regulator for an air compressor. That's all it is. So, of course, my phone's ringing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I just wanted to kind of show you what we had going on and what we're doing. Since we don't have to do a complete build on this, we don't have to get it bored. The bearings look pretty decent. You know, there's no copper showing or anything. We are going to put new bearings in them. There was some trash embedded in the bearings, you know, like a little bit of something that went through the system. But other than that, everything looks really good. I've already checked the squareness of the rod journals and the main caps, and everything is perfectly round. So that's good. But yeah, you know, guys, if you have a car like this that is, you know, that rare of a car, don't frickin' drag race it. Like, somebody's got the exhaust that comes underneath. There's they've got a dump pipe on it where they can take the cap off the end of it and run wide open, you know, exhaust. And it's got a huge exhaust system that comes out the back. They had airbags on both rear springs, you know, to stiffen up the rear suspension for launching. So my guess is they probably had, you know, a set of drag wheels on this thing, because these wheels are in such good shape and the tires are in such good shape. So, but yeah, look, it's got the cover back here. It's got the T-tops covers. The thing is in really good shape. So it's cool, you know, we're gonna get the engine back in shape. We're gonna get everything back the way it's supposed to be from the factory, make it look good, so he can sell this thing. But he's probably not gonna be able to make no money on it. I mean, he'll probably end up losing money, is what he was saying, unless he keeps the car for a couple of years, so that, because the value is only gonna go up. And it's really a shame, because when he went to buy this car, he asked them was there anything wrong with the car, and they said there was nothing wrong with it, that they checked it out. And he told them what's wrong with the car. And they're like, no, we have a crew that checks them out. Well, if they would have checked this thing out, they would have started it. If they would have started this car, they would have seen there was something wrong with it, even if it was totally clean under the hood, right? You know, they would have seen something wrong with it. And they should have, at that point, they should have refused to run this across the auction block, at least for that. You know, if it runs across the auction block in that condition, then it needs to be told that condition, right? But I gotta tell you, this isn't the first car. You know, I've had another customer that bought a car from the same auction house. Same thing. It had a hurt engine. It run fine, but it had a little rod knock, a little lifter knock, and we're actually doing an engine build on that car. Well, we haven't started it yet, but we will be. So that's a shame, you know. They need to be honest about that stuff. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of, you know, we're about 14 minutes here. I just wanted to show you this car. It's really a unique car. I'll probably never have one of these in the shop again. Honestly, they're that rare. So it's cool that we're able to, you know, have a car like this in the shop and work on it and get it back the way it's supposed to be. I'm really hopeful that once we get it back in there and we can get the engine compartment looking like it's supposed to look, nice and clean, factory looking, that he can go ahead and sell this car, you know, within the year, you know, and make a little money on it. I mean, even if he only makes $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. At least he's making something on the car. So that's kind of where we're shooting for. You know, if he can't make anything on it, he says he's just going to throw it in his garage, cover it up, drive it from time to time, and just keep it for a year or two. You know, he does have a collection. He's got some nice cars, and eventually he'll run them through and sell them and buy more. But he buys and sells these constantly. He's got a nice little gig going. He's been doing it for a long time. He's got a lot of contacts. So, but that's cool. I want to go ahead and cut this video off. Just wanted to show you guys this, special car. I mean, it really is. So, but yeah, we're going to get it going again for him. Now, once we get this engine back, the machine shop says that since we're not doing a full, bore, and a whole deal, I mean, obviously we're putting new cam bearings in it too, that he should be able to get this one done for us within a couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. And if that's the case and we can get this thing back, we can get it together, and then that way he can try to get this car sold for the spring, maybe early summer. That's the plan. So hopefully we can do that. All right. So I appreciate you guys checking this one out, and be on the lookout for some more videos. We've got a lot of engine builds right now. Gosh, man, we got a lot of engine builds. So anyway, hey, I appreciate you guys checking this out. I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here, and be on the lookout for some more videos. If you haven't subscribed, consider subscribing to the channel. Leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think about this car. A lot of people don't really care for this body style, but there is a lot of people that like these cars too. They bring back old memories, you know what I mean? So leave some comments below on what you think about this deal. Don't forget to hit the notification bell too, so you get the notification of the videos that come out. All right, thanks a lot, and we will see you on the next video.